Okay, gentlemen, we want to get to the bottom of Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Chase has gotten us pretty far along. What are our goals for today?
Our goal is getting this thing driving. So, tracks are off right now. So what I have to do is get these plates on so we can get our tracks mounted again. We're gonna change out the motors. We got new motors.
And we need to make an umbilical today too, right?
We are
need
gonna
to
make,
actually
yes.
make a way for it to move around. B-I-L-I-C-A-L.
I can
was just
fucking
making
spell,
sure.
Andy.
I was just making
It's hard.
sure.
It's on an angle, okay?
Okay, Roger.
I'm not a school
Roger.
teacher.
So the next thing we're gonna have to do is actually, you're gonna have to construct the topside control box. And this one's mostly for you too. Add the toggle button code to the I2C code.
stuff.
Just put nerd stuff.
Some nerd shit.
Nerd stuff.
I love how my one contribution to the team is nerd stuff.
I
Thanks,
mean, we're
guys.
all nerds, but if you're a programmer, you're more of a nerd than the rest of us. Sorry. Turning wrenches is what manly men do, you know.
I'll leave that up to
Sound
you
like
then.
my grandfather.
That's
Right, so
something.
there's going to be problems for me telling you what tool we need to get if I need you to go fetch me tools.
Yeah.
Not just because you're not a super tool guy, but also because I'm Scottish, right? So, are you familiar with tools?
I generally chose books.
Okay, well, that's Roger that. This thing here, I call this a shifter, right? A shifter is, I believe you Americans would call that an adjustable wrench. Yes, an adjustable wrench.
I got one.
Right?
My dad's not going to be too disappointed.
We have these things here, hen's legs.
Not
right?
hen's legs.
Hen's
Channel
legs,
locks.
chicken
Don't call
legs.
them hen's
Channel
legs.
locks.
Technical name,
No. That's some
Channel
UK.
locks?
channel locks. Channel lock, yes, right. So, do you know what this is?
It's one of the twisty thing.
Okay, I believe you would call that a ratchet, but this one is a special ratchet, right? So you have an examine of it and see if you can work out what it might be for. You can even look at the writing on it and everything.
Yeah.
Big
Knowing
bolts. Big bolts?
Well, sometimes torque wrench.
A torque wrench.
Torque wrench, yeah. So if we have a bolt on there that we need to get to, say, 55 foot-pounds of torque, well, today is crush time though, and we need you probably doing the code for the relay for the 240.
Yeah.
So we'd have a safe way to turn that on and off.
So, well, maybe I'll go and grab my own tools. It's probably going to be easier.
Fuck off. So the reason that not just anybody is doing this, building things and driving them into deep water, ecosystems areas, is because of this pressure problem. Is that the main thing?
Pressure is your, is your biggest enemy. It's all the time that the RV is down there, the water pressure is trying to crush it. It's trying to make it a cube. When we go deep, if you don't want the whole thing crushing like a beer can, you got to drill your holes.
No,
So
the tubular.
explain that.
Yeah.
Why do we need to drill holes into this? I mean, this looks like pretty solemn aluminum.
Essentially, where we're going, 1645, you're looking at about 740 pounds per square inch. So
Right,
you
so
can
that means
imagine a horse
every one of
standing on every-
those
yeah.
has 740 pounds on it.
So
right?
this is just, at this point, it's a giant bunch of beer cans stringed together.
It is,
drill
it
holes.
is, exactly. If you don't let this flood, then it'll just crush.
So we drill holes so the water and pressure can equalize in it.
It can get inside it, yep.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong with this, but 740 PSI would be essentially like every inch on this in every direction, a horse standing on it or something.
I'm not actually an equine expert, so I
I
can't
don't know.
confirm or
I was
deny.
kinda-
You're
I was
from
hoping for
Scotland,
more
you're from
than-
the old country.
can neither confirm or deny the weight
They
of a
still
horse.
ride
Maybe a
horses in
small
Aberdeen.
horse weighs 750 pounds. Maybe a Shetland pony standing here. But nevertheless,
I
yeah.
wasn't asking you for your horse knowledge.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was just telling you. I don't know the weight of a horse, but
That's-
I mean,
yeah.
it's probably the weight of at least, for something that people can relate to, the weight of, a really big riding lawnmower or something on every single square inch.
So essentially, if we want to get to the bottom of Lake Tahoe, which is 1,650 feet, we have an umbilical that includes the power, that includes the video, it includes all of the Cat6 cable that goes to a little control module where we can control the ROV, and we need to set up that whole cable so that we can control it for test purposes. Yeah. But if it works over 50 feet, if it works over 100 feet, it'll work up to 4,000 feet.
So we need to figure out a way to attach this to the machine so that we don't pull it out. And like you say, today we're just going to do 100 feet,
Yeah.
right? Just to get it out for a test. And then we're going to extend to go down the required 1,647 feet. And we need to make sure this is waterproof because clearly that's electricity. And if it's surrounded by water, we can't have that getting wet.
Yeah, it's got 220, 240 volts right now with a maximum draw of 50 amps from the wall. So that's enough energy to kill all of us if we held hands together and touched it. So,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay.
So,
So how do we
motors-
not have that? How do we not die?
We have ground fault monitoring.
Okay.
We have lots of different things
We
put
have
in
we have
place.
electrical safety devices that we can protect us with.
Yeah.
And then the other thing we can't do, if we're ever going to put this in the water, is leak. We got to keep Lake Tahoe as pristine as it is right now.
Right.
We got to make sure that everything is good and tight and is not going to, in any way, shape, or form, spoil Lake Tahoe.
It's so big. It has so much torque. It's got such massive. Like, what the hell is with those? You said it was a snowmobile track. That's not a snowmobile track.
This is more like the thing that
This is
ran.
a tank.
Right? This is exactly like the thing that ran over Hawkeye, pretty much, right? I mean, the tracks are about the same size.
You're gonna get
that
bugged by
shit.
the ATF. They're gonna be like, this guy's got a fucking tank.
This is obscenely powerful and high torque. So this would easily put your fingers in those sprockets and you're losing your fingers easy. This is an orbital hydraulic motor.
You've got these big tracks, lots of torque, because you want to be able to pull all of the weight.
Yeah, all the way. So you have a bigger ROV, then you have more power. You have more power, you have to have a thicker cable. You have a thicker cable, you got to make a bigger ROV to pull it.
Yeah.
So you want a lot of cameras on there and good quality cameras where you can have footage, you're going to need a big ROV. So
Yeah.
because this is as big as I could possibly get in the back of my truck. So that's just why I didn't make it larger.
Because I've seen videos of people sending down these little ROVs with thrusters to the bottom of Lake Tahoe, but it's like as soon as they make it to the bottom of the lake, they can't move at all.
Well,
it's
yeah.
like they can just go up and down because there's so much cable weight.
Yes.
So why do we need a cable at all? Why don't we just say, screw the cable, let's just use a remote controller? Is there a reason
lot
Well,
of
why?
because you
people,
still have
yeah.
to get the data down there. Now, you can't use radio waves unless, well, nuclear submarines do, but that's about the only thing in the world that sends radio waves through the water. Because it's
Right.
an inherent property of physics that radio doesn't go through water very well, right? I mean, there's actually people researching that right now to try using lasers through water and things like that, but it's really difficult to send a signal through water.
So technology is not there. We need to rely on a cable to do the communications.
The only other way you could really do it is an acoustic link, and that's way out of what we can do
Acoustic
here.
relay.
There's a number of things, stories people have told us, things we found out about the lake that's down there that we want to find. You know, there's that Wells Fargo Gold that crashed and got into the bottom of the lake. There's that military plane that crashed, got to the bottom of the lake. There's shipwrecks, you know, there's potentially new species. Why don't we, the fault line, why don't we just go to these hot spots and drop a drop cam? Why do we need
Well, I've been trying for the last 10 years. It's a big lake. I started off with drop cam so deep it took 7.5 minutes for it to hit the bottom anyways.
Yeah.
And then because the cold, the lithium ion battery, you don't have much time to look at the bottom.
As soon as you're running something on batteries, you're limiting the amount of time you can stay down
Right.
there. This thing can stay down there for 2 weeks at a time.
And also we're having a hard time navigating because we can't see what we're doing. So for this, we're gonna have cameras.
If we are eventually going to build an arm, we can put a camera on the arm, right? We can get a look into places. Or we could build a smaller parasitic ROV that just, a symbiotic's better. I think.
Right.
Symbiotic's a
Yeah.
better word. A symbiotic ROV. Then put something that can literally undock from this, go out and look at things in really super close detail, and then come back to the point of exploring stuff. This can get us there.
It's like a deep water battle station.
Yes.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
we can actually stay down there.
It's big enough, it's strong enough, it has the power, it has the cameras to be able to handle driving down in rough terrain for a long time, but we're also forward thinking because
Yes.
this is a battle station. We're gonna add things to this. We can add an arm, we can add more cameras, we can add a little ROV that we can launch from it. you
Yes,
know.
this is a Death Star, and then it's going to have TIE fighters that can launch from it potentially.
Hopefully it doesn't explode as
And
easily.
yeah, no, hopefully it doesn't explode like the Death Star. It's a blank canvas. That's the best part. That's what I love about it. at this point, we can put whatever we want on it.
Absolutely.
So the long-term plan is going to be to try and do everything that a, industrial machine can do.
Right.
But we're doing it on the cheap. That's what we're trying to do. Like that is basically what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
Should
that's-
we get working?
I think we should.